Spring JdbcClient, JdbcTemplate and NamedParameterJdbcTemplate are classes to perform JDBC operations. In this video, I will discuss differences among them. Spring JdbcTemplate uses JDBC-style positional parameters to bind. Positional parameters means using question mark. Spring NamedParameterJdbcTemplate uses Spring style named parameters. Look here, use a name with colon. Spring JdbcClient can use JDBC style positional parameters as well as Spring style named parameters in SQL query. In Spring Boot application, we just have to configure database setting in property file or YML file, and then we are able to auto-wire JdbcClient, JdbcTemplate and named parameter JdbcTemplate. For the demo, I have auto-wired all the three, but you may require only one of them. For the demo purpose, I have written here code using all the three: JdbcClient, JdbcTemplate and named parameter JdbcTemplate. But you may require any one of them as required by your application. So let us discuss the differences among them. First, I will discuss how to fetch data using all the three. Then I will discuss how to create data, how to update data, and how to delete data. To fetch data, I am here discussing using JdbcTemplate. So write the query and for the filter use positional parameter. With JdbcTemplate we cannot use named parameter. And then to fetch data, call its query for list method, and this will be the query and then parameters that will bind the value for positional parameters. Cust name is for this place and city is for this place. If you have more positional parameters, just use it by comma separated. Query for list will return a list, and that list can be iterated like this to get data. Here I am using a customer table. It has three columns: cust underscore ID, cust underscore name and city. And once we get the list, then I am fetching data by iterating the list. Okay, I am commenting it. Now look at this code. It is using named parameter JdbcTemplate. This is the query. Select star from customer where cust name is a named parameter and this is also a named parameter. To bind the values, we need to use SQL parameter source in case we are using named parameter JdbcTemplate. So create the object of map SQL parameter source and then call its add value method as many times as required and bind the values for named parameter. CName, this is CName, getting value from this variable cust name, and CT for this, and this getting value from city variable, and call its query for list method that will again return a list that we can iterate here. So this was the named parameter JDBC template. Now talk about the JDBC client. As we discussed earlier that JDBC client can use positional parameters as well as named parameters. So first I am discussing using positional for the JDBC client. This is our query and it is using the positional parameters. To bind the values, call param method. In JDBC client, first you have to call the SQL method and pass your SQL query, and that will return statement spec. Statement spec has the method param, and for first position use number 1 and assign the value, and for second position write 2 and assign the value. Then statement spec has a method query to fetch data that will return result query spec, and after that call list of rows by result query spec that will again return the list, and that we can iterate here. So this was the uh, query um, using positional parameters. Now let's see how we will fetch data using JDBC client with named parameter. This is the a query that is using named parameter as we have discussed in named parameter JDBC template, and here create this and call its param method. The same thing here, in the place of index you have to pass the named parameter name, and all thing is the same. Okay, this will return the list. In this way, using JDBC template or named parameter JDBC template or JDBC client, we can get values. JDBC client is the new introduced in Spring 6, so you should use JDBC client because it has the flexibility to use either a positional parameter or named parameter as required. Let us see how to insert values. Using JDBC template, write the query, insert query, call its update method, pass the query, then parameters, cust name for this place and city for this place. Okay, now let's use SQL parameter. Now we will see named parameter JDBC template. This is our query, and it is using named parameter, bind the value, call its update method. Okay, so binding value is the same as we have seen in fetching value using named parameter JDBC template. Okay, now let's see how to use JDBC client with positional parameter to insert values. This is our insert query. Call the SQL method and pass SQL query. Call the param method of statement spec. Same, just the difference is we have to call update method. Same meaning, while fetching value using JDBC client, we did all the three. Call the SQL method and bind the value using param method. The difference is we have to call update method to insert values, update values, and to delete all the three. We have to call the update method. Look at the JDBC client using named parameter. Same, just bind the values and we are done. Just call the update method. This is the same. In the same way, we can update value. This is using JDBC template. Write the query, call the update method, pass query, and then pass the parameters. City for this place, cust ID for this place. In named parameter JDBC template, this is our query. Use SQL parameter source to bind the value, call update method, pass query, and SQL parameter source. JDBC client using positional parameter, create statement spec, bind the values using param method and call the update method. Using JDBC client with named parameter, look at here, the parameter is CT and CID. First, create the object of statement spec, then bind the value for the named parameter CT and CID using param method, and then call the update method. In the same way, now we will see to delete data using JDBC template. Look, this is the query and it has only one positional parameter. Call the update method by JDBC client, JDBC template, and then pass the SQL query and bind the values. Cust ID will bind the values for this place. With named parameter JDBC template, this is our query. Named parameter CID, bind the value here and call the update method. pass SQL query and SQL parameter source. Now let's use JdbcClient with positional parameter. This is our query. To delete, call the SQL method from the JdbcClient that will return statement spec, bind the value using param method for the positional parameter, and then call the update method. JdbcClient with named parameter. This is our query that has a named parameter CID, and then first call the SQL method by passing the SQL query, bind the value using param method of statement spec. This is CID, this one, and bind the value, and then call the update method that will delete the data. In this way, we uh, learned that the differences among JDBC template, named parameter JDBC template, and JDBC client. Thanks.